First week of podcast here once again after a little two week break here. Let's do the game. Kyle Nash back with us. What's up, bud?
2 week break because you're a slacker. I mean, I'm over here still doing things for the black and gold banneret and the 3-point conversion.
You're a busy man, dude. You really are. I got a bone pick with you also too. You know,
What? That I hung out with somebody that actually showed up to the damn event? Interesting.
Yeah, our own Mikey B, who's known you only 6 months, already met you in person. I've known you a decade. I had hair. By choice, of course.
You know why you don't have any hair anymore? Because you got burned.
Boom! Damn. From the hip, son. From the hip, son.
You got mugged. Okay, it's not the right mug, but you get it.
Well, again, guys, follow Kyle on Twitter at DSOTG, of course. He does like a lot of stuff. I mean, you'll see on his Twitter feed, obviously, all the work he does, especially. Kyle, we no longer have any more unbeaten teams in the NFL.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, credit, of course, in 50 years gone now, the Miami Dolphins will be popping champagne. At this point, they're single-handedly carrying the champagne industry in Miami, I think. I kid. But yeah, what a development and the way that game ended.
Yeah.
Weird. If I'm an Eagles fan, I am ticked at that call. That was very timid to me.
Which one? The late hit?
The one where here's a testament to your Red Tails, Commanders, and how bad they are. Mm-hmm. The biggest celebration was on a quarterback getting a late hit flag. I have never seen somebody light the fires and party the way that Taylor Heineke did.
Yeah.
I mean, he needed a Heineken to match the celebration level he brought there. That being said, a dub's a dub, and I'm taking nothing from it. We all figured that the Eagles someplace would draw something, regardless of the favorable schedule that you have brought up, and correctly so. This isn't, you being a tool, but, is anybody really particularly surprised that, A, if it was an NFC East opponent that did it, and B, that a loss happened? And it's a little surprising it's them, but,
But at the same time, too, could it be argued that, I mean, I don't know if you feed into this theory like everybody else does, that maybe, because we've seen teams that have gone further than 8-0, 11-0. We saw the Patriots in 07 get to 18-0 and literally a drive from completing the journey to being unbeaten the entire year. Could be argued, though, that the pressure, of that, like, sometimes it's not bad to lose a game like that. Lose one game, get out of the way, and then move forward. Do you believe in that theory?
I've thus said it on the Student of the Game podcast myself. Bing! And especially with a game like this. Again, you needed a questionable call. The Red Tails took the ball away 4 times. 4 times. Mm-hmm. Jalen Hurts was just this close to being a hero, and the receiver gets back up and drops the ball in the process. I mean, this is all just crazy stuff. But if you are in a game like that, after 4 turnovers, with the ending that you got, are you really that worried about it? I mean, let's be honest. What do they say about a team that has all those opportunities, all those mistakes, but they still win? You know what they call them? The Eagles and the Chiefs. You know how I know that? Eagles had 4 turnovers had 4 turnovers handed to them, and they took advantage. The Chiefs turned the ball over 3 times and won, but no one's talking about that in either case, right? It's a bad team in the Jags that gave the ball away a lot, so of course the Eagles won. Or, the Jags are that bad. The Chiefs won, even though they turned the ball over 3 times. And we're talking about Mahomes is great. Like, y'all guys saw that defense turn the team over 3 times, right? We're only talking about this particular result because the Red Tails won, and as we should. I mean, the Eagles have had a fantastic run so far this season. I don't think anybody doubts that our playoff team. I myself and the Muslim football scout Bashir Pemberton both picked them. The premier Bashir picked them to make the playoffs. This it's newsworthy because the news cycle is what it is. A lot of people are griping about their fantasy team and Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
But beyond that, honestly, I think that might actually be the most newsworthy thing overall long term.
So if you're an Eagles fan, nothing to worry about long term, right? Like, I mean, because the way I saw that game was this: like the Eagles, even with the 4 turnovers, they will still win that game. I don't feel any different about the Eagles coming out of the game than I did coming in. Yeah, clean some things here and there, but to me, okay, you get your one loss out the way. I don't feel bad about the Eagles still going forward. I still think right now they're still the best team in the NFC currently.
Well, if I'm an Eagles fan, I start screaming at things and saying, "See, I told you Jalen Hurts was bad. Fire Sirianni, blah 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 blah."
Right.
And in the name of starting to celebrate Christmas early, I start buying batteries and booing now, practicing in the mirror for actual Christmas.
Speaking of coaches, Jeff Saturday got his first game, first win.
Woo! Listen, his main name is Saturday, but that dude wins on Sunday, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm less worried about him, EJ. The tweet that I know is the true kiss of death. Josh McDaniel has been given assurances that his job is safe. He go.
I saw that. I was like, yeah, he's definitely gone. He might make it to the end of the year though, but he's
Hey, yeah. All they did is eliminate the tarmac firing, which I got to be honest, I sort of expected because they were at home. They'll drive him to the airport to make it a tarmac fire.
It's funny. Like the Colts, we keep saying they're one of the worst teams in the league this year, and
they are.
Certainly it feels that way. But come hell high water, they have 4 wins still. I don't get it.
Do your analysis. Other than the Chiefs game, which nobody can truly explain, including the Colts. Look at the other wins, please. One of them is Jacksonville, right? A team to whom they were shut out earlier in the year, by the way. So, and then what's the other one? Crap, I don't have the schedule in front of me. But
they beat Jacksonville. They beat the Chiefs. They tied the Texans actually, which looks bad now because they won that game.
To me, the two I said, EJ, that's not helpful.
No, I'm going through the list now. Hold on, give me a second.
The other win is
Denver.
Oh, the
Denver Broncos.
I'm disappointed having looked it up. Yeah. So again, and by the way, in what is arguably the worst win in the season in the NFL, even over and above just Saturday, and a first-time play caller and a guy that was the quarterback coach or something, which props to Saturday in the post-game for the in the locker room, giving that dude props. That was incredibly cool. And by the way, speaking of cool locker room moments, going back to the Red Tails, Commanders and Eagles game, seeing Ron Rivera, I know he's not my favorite coach, but I've always felt like he was a cool dude. And seeing him get emotional as he did post game, like he started to tear up and he had to walk off because he felt like he was going to cry and break down right there. Man, listen, I like to see that from guys, and that was really cool. That was a happy moment to see. Seeing Derek Carr at his podium after that Colts game, he made himself a sympathetic character to me if he already wasn't one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't people crying publicly this week. Week 10 was a strange week.
Man,
a lot of emotions going on.
There's your answer. It's a strange week, and there's a lot of intense stuff going on. Parody brings drama, Ernest Christian.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It really does. Any issue with the way Jeff Saturday got the gig?
So,
there's a lot of criticism out there about that.
And I think you're speaking in particular to a personality of which we are both a fan in Joy Taylor.
She's one of them, yeah. She had the boldest take of all. I will say that, yes.
Yeah, I'm not here to say any of it is wrong per se, but I think hiring a guy like let's say, she mentioned Reggie Wayne being on the staff. Let's say Reggie Wayne was promoted. That doesn't solve the problem that Joy Taylor is addressing, right? And again, legitimate problem to have. I'm not here to say that her take was bad. Over and above I mean, Joy Taylor working with Colin Cowherd was one of my favorite duos active at the time, no question, period,
Yeah.
point blank, stop. And it has nothing to do with any of her, let's say, pleasing aesthetic qualities. No, she's actually super sharp, sharper than a lot of other dudes who do it in the business, Skip Bayless. But this wasn't the right hill to climb on that, and because whoever takes that job is a sacrificial lamb, right? That it's hard to see a world where Ballard remains in place. It's hard to see a world where there aren't sweeping changes coming, and it's hard to see a world where whoever the next coach is stays on for the next season. So this interim coach, if it was a person of color and they got released as what seems inevitable, I feel like that would have gotten its own scrutiny. So from where I sit, this was a pick made for the fans and familiarity. Hell or high water. I don't. Again, I don't diss the point that Jay Taylor made about there being other more qualified candidates of color. If this were the beginning of the year, I would stand in line right next to her and be talking about that on my show, as you've heard me do, Ernest Christian. But no, that particular for an interim coach, that really does make a difference to me.
Yeah, I see your point there. So Thomas Edward Bieber Brady's 2-0 since the divorce. Kyle, are they back? Wins against the Rams, wins against the Seahawks.
When do they actually leave this? I'm confused. So what do you mean by back, Ernest Christian? Like,
I guess I say that
because they're going to make the playoffs anyway.
Yes, correct.
The division is that bad. So when you say back, do you mean capable of winning a playoff game, getting to the Super Bowl? What are we referring to precisely?
I guess we could do some tiers then. Are they capable of winning a playoff game at this point?
Because the NFL is what it is. We've seen Thomas Edward, Patrick Bieber, Brady win games because it was handed to them on a single on a silver platter. And of course, I'm referring to the Raiders. No, not the Tuck rule. I'm talking about the one where he should have been playing a young Derek Carr instead of Connor Cook at quarterback.
2017, I think, was that 16, 17.
I believe that's the correct year.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just because things like that can happen, listen, if beast mode with Tavares Jackson at quarterback can beat the Saints in the playoffs as he did,
right?
The last before Rusty started at quarterback in 2012, right?
Right.
But I'm not going to declare them back yet. I mean, part of that in my mind was more a collapse by Pete Carroll, right? You're a defensive coach, and yet you let this team run all
right
over you. This is why Pete Carroll has never been my coach of the year candidate at all. By the way, Dayball can lose again. You don't like Sirianni as the pick? Great. Robert Saleh has entered the chat, and you can't deny that.
Oh, no. Again, we're not arguing about who should be in the conversation. I mean, and to be honest, there's actually quite a few performances this year that we could be impressed by. And then that's the beauty of this year. It's been
is second place for the record.
Say it again?
Mike McDaniel.
I mean, he's making a strong case for that one, and we'll get to
all the carousel drama and all that, that he's been dealing with injury wise,
right, and still be able to have that team in first place currently in the AFC East right now.
I think that's more on the Bills and the Jets than it is them. But well, what is luck but the seizing of good opportunity, right?
Right. You only play who's in front of you, and if people can do their job, that's their problem, right? At the end of the day,
got it, baby.
Yeah. So back to the Bucs real quick though. Can you see this Bucs team winning a playoff game? Yes or no?
Only in a 15% chance in a scenario I talked about. Right.
Okay. So they couldn't win 2 playoff games.
No.
In the NFC this year. Okay. No. Okay. No. So there's a ceiling to that. The ceiling is divisional playoffs. That's it.
Right.
All right. You mentioned Mike McCarthy. Go. What's wrong? This is the docket.
We tried to tell him, but he wouldn't listen. We said, don't change the way you call the plays. Keep the balance of your offense in place. Sir, you did not. Dakota Prescott is throwing the ball upwards of 40 times against Aaron Charles Rodgers. And it failed. Now, granted,
miserably too.
Well, I don't know about miserably. It was an overtime win. He was this close from escaping with at least a draw, and then his dumb butt decides to go for that. Listen, if it were a situation where regulation was involved and not overtime, where you could at least walk away without an L, cool. Right. But you could have walked away without a loss. And you have one of the best teams in the league. And Aaron Charles Rodgers has proven with this receiver core, he's capable of making mistakes. And you kicked that away, literally. It was a bad call by McCarthy that decided that game. I would have said that even if they had one. I wouldn't have gone for it. You got lucky, is how I would say it. But he didn't get lucky. And now I have two instances. I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen.
Is it possible that because of the circumstances of the game for him, being back in Green Bay for the first time since he got fired, maybe you want to be a little cute and rub it in a little bit?
Oh, I know Rodgers was there for vengeance.
Fair point. I mean, you saw our boy Big Jim, really went off the rails on our text exchange after the game.
We tried to tell him, but he wouldn't listen. But he also tried to tell him, but he wouldn't listen either.
There's a lot of miscommunication or not listening.
A lot of ignorance, if you
ignorance. Will. Yes. Any chance that Vikings-Bills this past Sunday, game of the year, by the way, was a possible Super Bowl preview in your eyes?
What? We're still...
Is there a chance we see?
I didn't get the memo. We're still taking the Vikings seriously after that game, after they got handed that ish. Listen, I'm going to have Sensei Jeff Barnes on the Student of the Game podcast this week. Bing! And he's going to try to explain to me why I need to take the Vikings seriously, because I still can't. I'll grant you, I made Justin Jefferson my offensive player of the year last week with Mikey Byrne when we did midseason awards and plotted and conspired to hang out together, where you have always failed to do so. But other than him and Dalvin Cook, I got nothing. Can you give me anything about the Vikings that's exciting? I'll listen.
I mean, I gotta be honest with you. I mean, like, you being down 14 and still clawing away on the road like that to be back in the game is pretty impressive. I'll give you that. Look, you know me. I'm one of those, not a Viking hater, but one of those people that, you got to show me to sell me.
If you were.
Yeah.
They've never outright won games. They've been handed games or beaten inferior opponents. Think the Ravens under quarterback Kyle Bowler, okay? Kyle, I should have been a bowler.
Is he a top 5 Kyle? No.
Hell no.
Is he higher than Kyle Orton on the list?
No.
Okay.
Now
proceed.
Yeah. And that's mostly because I'm sympathetic to Kyle Orton because he got replaced by Tim Tebow.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyways, no. Listen, man. No, it's not. The Vikings will be supplanted by a team that's much more of a force. And the way the Bills lost, I know everybody's like, oh, they can't play close games. This is not the game upon which to judge that, right? Like, they make the big goal line stand, and then the way the game is lost is a fumbling of the exchange deep in your territory. Really? Now, if you want to start analyzing Josh Allen, I'm down with that. I'm the guy that said he got better on Diggs. I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen.
Yeah, a little concerned Josh Allen, though, but I also feel like, by default, if your running game isn't playing well and Josh Allen is your first, last, and only, by default, you'll have a lot of INTs. He has 10 this year so far.
Well, right, but
the volume of places he's running for his team, and obviously lends to that.
They've addressed that, though, right? They acquired Naheem Hines to try to address that. That particular play, though, correct call was to do a quarterback sneak, get out from away from the end zone a little bit. But damn it, if you screw up in a big moment, the most fundamental exchange for any quarterback, literally any quarterback that's not in shotgun, no, you got bigger. That's on you.
There are concerns for Buffalo, but here's why I'm not overly concerned. Their combined losses, 3 losses, are combined 8 points.
Sure.
So I want to be very careful about how we oh, the world's burning here.
There was
Yes,
a
they're
day
trying
when
to clean things up.
there was a day when Peyton Manning couldn't win the big game either, allegedly, right?
Right. Until he did.
Twice.
Well, I mean, all I can say is you and I picked the Bills to win the Super Bowl this year. I know, a couple of our other panelists and friends that do this. They all pick the Bills to win the Super Bowl. Um, this is a learning thing here. Like, you still got to earn it.
It should be.
It
right?
should be.
Which, by the way, when did the AFC East become a murderer's row of coaches?
And by the way, if the playoffs start today, Kyle, which we'll get to in a second, and then on the next segment, let's save that for the next segment because I'll run that down. MVP race. This is gonna get. There's a lot of people to get consideration for, and
Certainly.
people, guys we thought would probably be in lead weeks ago are probably not in lead anymore, and positioning.
I don't have a quarterback among my top three.
I like it. Give me who are your three.
Well, if you listen to the Student of the Game podcast, bing, my midseason guy is, Giants fan would be excited about this. You might not be, but Saquon Barkley was my midseason MVP, right? I could make, because he helps in both dimensions of the game, Ernest Christian. You're really that surprised?
No, I just love that you said it.
What, that I was that I was brave enough to say it on a podcast that features a Cowboys fan? Sorry.
I'm not a Cowboys fan. Shut up.
Oh, right. So, but
that's a little closer.
Oh, right. Bucks fan. Anyway.
No. Chiefs fan, you said, right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, good. Keep it there.
This is getting confusing. There's so many teams. Anyway,
we're shrunken 22. We told you that in the tags. We're shrunken to 22 teams now.
Yeah, I'm not going to list them all here. That would slow you down. Mikey Byrne had a line on another good option, and I would say Chris Henry is worthy of consideration. Then I thought even harder.
Oh, wait, you mean Derrick Henry?
I said Chris Henry. Yeah, Derrick Henry. Excuse me. Thank you. Then I thought even harder. I can make a very strong case for Tyreek Hill to be in the race.
Yes.
I can make a very strong case for Justin Jefferson, who you're seeing now. I'm at number 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then
I've heard a quarterback yet. That's 4.
Right. Then we would start getting to quarterbacks at this point. Now, some people are out there, Justin Fields is the MVP.
I heard that take. Like, no.
Listen, he might be the most valuable person on his team, no question. But that team is too awful for him to be the most valuable in the league. That's not an option.
Right.
For me. So if you want to go the Geno Smith route, I'm more sympathetic to that than I am Fields. But for my money, if I'm rounding out a top 5 here, which I assumed you asked for, I don't know if you really did or not. Do you seriously, as critical as I normally am of something like this, do you take seriously the concept? Well, actually, no, you can't. He's been playing too poorly, but I can make an argument that Tom Brady is still somebody who will be fighting for that race should the Bucs turn it around in elite fashion, right?
Right.
But I definitely not there yet. I don't even know that he's my number 5 with this right now. I mean, I can make a better argument for Mahomes right now, even though he hasn't played the greatest, even though, there have been blips. The fact that team is still doing what it's doing without Tyreek Hill has a lot to do with him, right?
Yeah, the Tua thing, though, the reason why this is what helps Tua's argument, though, for being in the conversation. Yes, and I agree. The Tyreek Hill thing is definitely he's on pace for 2,000 yards. He's probably going to crush 2,000 yards the way he's going right now. Okay, is that team in the 2 3/4 games that he did not play this year is a completely different offense without him. Completely different offense. It's night and day.
It's a completely different production.
Right. It was different, like
offense. And it's
the thought
that still runs through Tyreek Hill.
Correct.
Who, if he has slower production during the time that Tua is out, he would not be on pace for 2,000.
Agree.
For that argument.
And there was a thought that Teddy Bridgewater, good quarterback, not bad, a solid quarterback, probably a backup, though, at this point in his career, could hold the 4th down for a couple of games, and that didn't happen.
Time too, because,
And you put two back in there, and the
You're
numbers
missing
explode.
Skylar. What's his butt?
Skylar Thompson.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So what helps Tua in the argument here is when I'm not there, the team offense literally fell apart for 2 3/4 games.
It can't have completely fallen apart mathematically because Tyreek Hill is still on pace for 2,000 despite that. Now, I haven't done the math.
Fair point. I got to see numbers of how we did with those two quarterbacks versus with Tua, and see if the numbers.
Of course, he's going to do better with Tua.
But I mean the gap. How big the gap? How big the production is in consideration.
You can't. I can't support any argument that's going to give me a guy that wasn't there the whole time the way Tyreek Hill is.
I'm not gonna sit and say Tua is the MVP. We're not going there. I know.
If you want two Dolphins as candidates, I suppose the argument could be made for Tua in, I guess, top 15, maybe. We're talking back to RG3 and Alfred Morris back when they were significant, them splitting votes for MVP. Mm-hmm. So it could be that kind of a situation, but it's only because people are so predisposed to give the quarterback the MVP. Listen, you get the ball that many times, you want to be the most valuable player as the distributor. Your team's got to be doing amazing things, which the Dolphins have accomplished. But again, you can't help the club in the tub, whether you should have been there or not.
In the tub, of course.
Right.
Yeah, I like that. All right, let's get to the this is why I love doing our weekly, whatever thing we do here. We've been doing for the last decade.
Because you're a masochist who likes getting dunked on that much?
Well, that too, but especially this time of year. Yeah. Thanksgiving's next week. I always call Thanksgiving week pennant time in football, like the last run, the last chance to make a run.
I can appreciate you finding any way to make baseball more manling. That's cool.
Oh, stop it.
Well, Diamond's not a girl's best friend. There's an actual song that says that.
You're the worst, I swear.
That doesn't make me wrong.
I'm trying to find the standings real quick on the here it is. Here it goes right here.
You can't click a button. Good God, Ernest.
No. I'm just trying to find the order of if the playoffs started today, for example.
Gotcha.
And I found it. Okay, so right now, and let's go to the NFC first, because the AFC is probably more interesting. Well, they're both interesting, to be honest. But
define interesting, competitive or interesting. Anyway,
so as I was saying, the reason why I love doing the podcast, especially now this time of year with you, is that we get to the playoff locks. I mean, pretty much go weekly with this one at this point of year, because
we're in double-digit weeks. So yes, it's okay to start doing.
Yeah. So right now in the NFC, if the playoffs are today, your 1 seed is the Eagles. The 2 seed is the Vikings. Now, both teams have identical records, but of course, the Eagles beat them in the Monday Football Game week 2, week 3. The 3 seed.
Make sure you check the conference record, but details continue.
Yeah, the three seed is the Seattle Seahawks. The 4 seed is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The 5 seed is my New York Giants. The 6 seed is quiet. The 6 seed is the Dallas Cowboys, and the 7 seed is your San Francisco 49ers. And mine too, apparently, so according to a lot of people that we know.
I mean, if you've seen your top 10, you know.
Right. All right. Kyle Nash.
Sure.
Who are you ready to lock up?
Oh, Eagles. Of course. Right.
NFC East champions too, or no?
Come to me after this Sunday to see how they bounce back. Right.
Okay. Maybe you can always unlock it later on. So.
Well, then what? I'm not a locksmith, fool. Locks are locks. Come on now. Anyways, no, but I'm definitely locking the Eagles. Who's the 2 again? Vikings. I'm going to lock the NFC North under them.
Yes.
I'm going to lock them in the playoffs. I'm not locking them at the 2 because there's still a chance that the Seahawks could make that much noise and that the Vikings could slump a few,
Okay. Well, the Seahawks are in the 3 seed. You can lock them up?
I'm going to lock them to win the West. Yeah, I'm going to do
that. You're there.
I am. That is how much belief I don't have in the 49ers backfield, specifically Jimmy Garoppolo.
I'm sure you're locking up the Buccaneers at the 4 seed.
Oh, yeah. That division sucks so hard.
Okay. The real question is the wild card, I guess. Here's your wild cards. Again, Giants 5, Cowboys 6, Niners 7.
Yeah. I got to tell you, EJ, and here's where it gets difficult here is if the question is who's making the playoffs, it's a lot easier than
Then
who's
we'll
in
do that then.
right,
Playoff locks. Forget the spot then. That's playoff locks.
right,
Are
right.
they in? Are Giants in?
Uh, the Giant.
So they got Detroit this week coming up. Then the Cowboys. Then I think the Eagles after that.
The reason why I'm slow on that is there's a lot of divisional mayhem coming up for the
Yep.
Giants.
Because they're on one division right now. They got a lot of divisional games coming up.
Right, exactly. And oh, by the way, somewhere in there, the Vikings are on the schedule too.
Yep.
I mean, it just sure the Lions are a win, but I'll put it this way: if they split the rest of their teams in the division, which they'd have to beat the Cowboys on Thanksgiving to achieve,
Yeah.
then they're in. But you know what? They're going to make the playoffs. Like they're going to like the Lions. Well, oh yeah, the Lions and the Colts. They'll make the playoffs.
That last Eagles game is in week 18, and the Eagles might have things wrapped up ready, but then we'll see.
Also true. Good point.
Just
yeah,
kind of.
I'm gonna lock the Giants. Giants fans would be ecstatic. Let me check on your Cowboys here because
Shut up! Don't start your shenanigans, okay?
You mean my facts?
Your shenanigans. Thank you.
All right.
Tomfoolery, Kyle Nash.
Continuing with my factual tomfoolery here.
Oh yeah. So yes, Giants.
You would find a way to get Brady involved. You had to call it tomfoolery, didn't you? Such a fanboy.
God. What about the Cowboys? Since you go to the Giants.
Yeah. And I mean, they have the Colts, Jags, and Texans remaining on the schedule as well. They have a run on the NFC South remaining on the schedule. Yeah, they're going. They're in there.
Your Niners.
I know Jeff will be mad. Jim will be mad that I said so.
Jim's always mad. Jim's always mad anyway. He always gets emotional these things. It's okay.
Wow.
Because emotional these kind of things, man.
Yeah, he's got 7 wins and he's got the AFC South. They're locked.
NFC South, right? AFC South or NFC South? He said
the AFC South. They have to play off the AFC South. The only game that I would make that should be competitive is the Titans.
Okay, and your Niners.
No, simply because at that point there's too much cluster in the room. At that point your frisky Commanders are suddenly in there. If the Packers turn things around, they're still the favorite of the remaining teams. But listen, the only reason why they're a threat is that stupid 7th spot that shouldn't exist and is probably the dumbest thing NFL postseason has done, other than require that a losing team
and they got a weird
host a playoff game.
And they got a little bit of a weird schedule. They got New Orleans. No, sorry, they got Arizona this week.
Right.
That should be a win, but again, Arizona is weird.
No, that is not a lock, sir.
No. Well, if Kyler's back next week, obviously that's gonna be a problem.
Right.
They're the Saints. Saints should be a win.
It should be, right.
Then here's a string of Dolphins, Bucks, Seahawks. That could be a little weird.
Dolphins are an L. The Bucks are in such disarray that defense with the 49ers is uniquely designed to crush what's in front of them. And you know what happens to your man under pressure.
Seattle on the road.
That's going to be interesting, man. You never know what factor the 12th man can have.
Yeah. Then the Commanders, we'll see where they're at that point of the year, Christmas Eve.
I mean, the Commanders are the 49ers with worse staff. So I really think that should be a Niners win overall.
The Raiders on New Year's Day to win. And then the Cardinals again, playing spoiler.
Yeah. At that point, who would be playing spoiler for who, by the way? By the way, the Rams are officially so bad that Cliff Kingsbury's won a late in the season game.
Yeah, right. Right. That's kind of strange to see that, right? So real quick, I am with you on the divisional stuff. Eagles locked. And in fact, I'll lock Eagles in for the division too. I'm there. Okay. Vikings, NFC North champions. Congratulations. Here's your trophy. Right. Seahawks, I ain't locking them. Not yet. That loss against Tampa Bay was a little concerning.
You're so high on the 49ers. I think that's what's clouding you, man.
Well, not only that, but like they push back here against Tampa. Let's see what they can do going forward. If I see another, if they bounce back this week, who they play this week? They play. Let me see who they play this week. They play. Oh, they play the Raiders. No, not a bye. They're going to bye. They got. Actually, you know what? I'm going to have to change my mind here. Their next 3 games: before the Niners game. They got bye week this week, which they obviously won't lose.
Right.
Raiders, Rams, Panthers.
Bro.
They'll be 9-3 at that point if they do their job.
You see, it's funny. Like if they sweep that as we expect they would, the next 3 games are precisely difficult. The Niners,
Chiefs, and Jets.
What a run! You know, and they could get to 9 with those 3 games, and then need to beat the Rams in Week 18 to get to 10.
The magic number is 10 wins in the NFC to get in. At this point,
Magic number might be 9, depending. But
right.
You get 10, you're a lock.
I'm gonna wait and see 1 week though, because again, if I'm not saying it's gonna happen, if the Commanders do their job, if the Niners come back and take lead the division, the Packers are only a game back, so things get a little weird. If the Packers can start winning some games going on the back end of the schedule, that's why Seattle's built some trust here, but let's wait another week or 2 to see what they do.
You know what just happened, DJ?
What?
I tried to tell you, but you did listen. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you. So here's okay. Where am I at? Sorry, this thing is stupid. So not locking Seattle yet in the playoffs at all.
Right.
Tampa locking playoffs definitely. NFC South champions.
I mean, with the way that Carolina pulled the win back on Thursday, bruh.
Yeah, they win in the South. Giants not there yet. Not there yet because we just said earlier on the pod.
You're saying not there yet on playoffs.
On playoffs too, yes. Because
really?
there's a lot of things. Again,
they got enough easy games. They'll sneak
2 Commanders games coming up, 2 Eagles games coming up. Now again, one of the Eagles games on week 18. We'll see if they need that game or not. There is also a Vikings game in there, as like I said earlier.
Right.
Okay. And I for the love of God, I like to see him win a game consistently for once against a bad team. Why is every game come down to the wire? Jeez.
It's the style of your game. You're reliant on one player. Now,
right. So
I reserve the right in my clause locking the Giants for the playoffs. Should Saquon Barkley have health problems, I'm out.
Oh yeah, they're done. Absolutely. Cowboys, yes, they're in no matter what. They'll find a way to get in.
That schedule is awful. Like if I will pay Jim's therapy bill if they don't make the playoffs. Okay.
And finally, the Niners. You know how I feel with the Niners, man. I think they're getting in. I'm sorry.
About how you feel. Look at that schedule.
I understand that. They're getting in.
God, you're such a tool.
They're getting in. I'm sorry. No, I will say this. I'm not locking the division title. I'm not locking the NFC West title. But playoff team, they'll finally get in. Okay. All right. Let's get to the AFC now. This is what I was saying earlier to you. If the playoffs are today, Kyle, all 4 AFC East teams are in the playoffs.
Isn't that crazy?
All 4, including Bill Belichick's Patriots.
Oh, by the way, bitches, who's winning the divorce now? I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen.
I mean, it's not even fair, though, because, I mean, one guy has a Super Bowl already.
No, I don't want to hear about unfair. You want to know what's unfair? A guy who's allegedly the GOAT getting handed another damn roster.
No, dude. We're on the same side of the argument when it comes to this stuff. No, but we're on the same side of the argument. But it's not even fair because one guy has a Super Bowl already and went to a team that doesn't need a quarterback, and Belichick's literally building a team from scratch again, pretty much.
That's been my point.
It's not fair.
Yeah.
I never said Brady won either.
Bill is still looking better right now. That's my point. The odds are stacked against Belichick, and he's coming out ahead here, dude.
So
he's not suffering through a divorce, to my knowledge. I'm just saying.
Currently, your 1 seed is your Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes.
Your 2 seed, the Miami Dolphins,
which is crazy. I mean,
again, Tua's doing his thing. The 3 seed,
still the best AFC East divisional record held by the one
Jets.
Held by the one currently leading after the midseason.
Yeah, the Jets,
the coach of the year.
Yeah, the 3 seed are the Titans, which again, how they got here, I don't know. The 4 seed, the Ravens. The 5 seed, the Jets. The 6 seed, the Bills, and the 7 seed is, like I said, the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
I'll tell you how the Titans got there, being lifted up by the rest of their sorry division.
Bing! Chiefs lock, obviously. Chiefs lock division, right?
Boy, what a I didn't say this for my midseason biggest disappointment, but I wonder if the AFC West as a division is in the
Bing.
conversation for
Absolutely.
biggest disappointment. But continue.
Yeah. So Chiefs. Okay, go ahead and lock them up. Who you locking up? Chiefs lock, obviously.
Sure.
Dolphins, you there? Dolphins playoff team.
Go to the next one. I'm gonna check that schedule before I answer that.
Okay, we can do it now if we want to.
Yeah, but I don't want the audience to wait on us. See, I'm trying to be a better host than you are on your show.
I have right here though. So I can run it to you right now.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
All right, here we go. So they're on a bye.
That was awesome.
Great time for a bye. Great time for a bye also too at the tail end of the year.
Oh, agreed.
Okay, Texans,
Yep.
Niners, Chargers, at Buffalo, Packers, Patriots, and Jets. That's a semi-tough schedule there, buddy.
So okay, well let's do the mathy math, right?
Okay,
How many wins? How many wins does I should say the Dolphins have? 7, right?
7, yeah.
So magic numbers 10 as typically done, right? I see the Texans.
I say 11 in the AFC, honestly, at this point to get in.
I'm not there yet, but that's an interesting concept. Some other big teams have to play each other, so mathematically, I don't think we're there yet. But Texans, Chargers, Packers. There's your 3 wins to get the 10, and you're going to tell me they're not going to pull out at least one in the rest? Nah.
Texans, what? Texans, Chargers, and who else? Packers?
Yeah.
Okay.
So with that in mind, I have those three of those that are likely wins, and of Niners, Bills, Pats, Jets, they're gonna win one of those to
Jets
get
game. Definitely a Jet game. I'll take a Jet game at home.
Listen.
At home.
Don't rule out them handling business in Foxborough either.
Mm-hmm.
But again, those teams playing each other is always wonky, right? Like this division is so crazy. I can say to you, Ernest Christian, that Ryan Fitzpatrick has beaten Tom Brady more than once.
It's weird, right?
Carry on.
No wonder Brady hates him so much. No wonder. So Dolphins.
Actually, that's on Brady. That's on Brady snubbing Fitzpatrick for the handshake.
Yeah.
When he beat him the first time.
So you're saying to yes to the Dolphins at this point, based on what you saw?
I am. I'm at that place. And listen, shouts to Ab Stanley. He pounded the table saying that the Dolphins were a playoff team. I didn't agree because I didn't think they had enough on the offensive line, and I'm incorrect because they made a lot of changes to help Tua get rid of the ball quick.
I had them as a playoff team, but they're better than I thought they were.
Yeah,
I was a 7 seed for the record. The Titans. Congratulations, you won the AFC South. What are you gonna do next?
Listen, I tried to tell you fools about that in August, but nobody wanted to hear me.
But
the Colts are going to win 11 games.
The Ravens, lock them in.
Man, the AFC North is such a tough division.
You have to lock them as a division winner, as a playoff team in general.
Well, yeah, but what I'm trying to say is they could lose enough ground to get knocked out, man.
It's
such a tough thing. 6 wins is a precarious place to be in my mind. Like I get that they got the Panthers, Jags, and Broncos on the schedule.
That's 2 wins there.
And they're in.
Oh God! Whoa! Yeah, Panthers, Jaguars, Broncos, Steelers, Browns, Falcons, Steelers. Dude,
they're in.
They should lose no more than 1 game the rest of the year. And that's week 18 against the Bengals.
Hold on. Let's give credence and fairness to the rivalry between the Ravens and the Steelers. That is a big damn game, even after Roethlisberger.
Okay. They're 12-5 at the end of the year.
Okay. We're still locking them for the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
But the reason why it's clear is we don't even need to go to the AFC North. Again, Panthers, Jags, Falcons, and Broncos.
Yeah, done.
Oh, the Denver Broncos.
All right. You're 5, 6, and 7 currently in order. Jets, Bills, Patriots.
Jets,
locking the Jets up?
Yeah, yes, the Bills are going to make the playoffs.
Yes.
They're not going to collapse that far.
The Jets, what about the Jets though?
I
got a schedule. I'll get a schedule quick.
Yeah. Well, I'm jumping to it too. There you go.
I have it here. Here we go. Patriots this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be a fun game to watch for vengeance. But looking down at, man, Bills, Lions,
Vikings.
Jags on the list.
Miss Minnesota too. Minnesota's in there.
No, I'm not worried about Minnesota.
Are you serious?
Like, no, that's not what I mean. Like with Minnesota, like I'm not trying to count them as games that are winnable. That's not what I mean.
Okay.
Bears, Lions, and Jags gets them to 9. Okay, you're telling me they can't win. Wait, I said yeah. Bears, Lions, Jags on Christmas week, by the way. Which
Yeah.
going to that game in New York. I'm just saying, or East Rutherford, whatever. But you're trying to tell me they can't pull out one win against the Pats, Vikings, Bills, or Finns or Seahawks. If they can't pull out one win in any of those games, they don't belong in the damn playoffs.
I
But
agree.
I think they're going to win one of those. You know what? I'm going to lock the Jets.
Ooh. Which now brings up the Patriots now as a 7th seed.
Yeah, mathematically, we can't do that yet. We can't do that yet.
Of course. All right, Patriots. So I said to the Jets. Patriots got Jets, Vikings, Bills, Cardinals, Raiders, Bengals, Dolphins, and Bills. Oof, I say no.
There's only one gimme game in that, in the Raiders. But let's say that you want to count the Cardinals too, and you're assuming Kingsbury falls apart. Listen, man, that's a tough go.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, I'll even say this: if Belichick can make that happen,
Coach of the year.
No, candidate.
Definitely.
What's also going to be held against him is the fact of some of the draft picks that were made to put them in the position in the first place.
Can't lock him though. I can't lock him up.
No, certainly not. Certainly not.
And I think looking at the rest of the conference here, Chargers are only they were also 5-4. So are the Bengals.
Chargers are so tricky, man. You know, Chargers are so tricky.
They're getting healthier at some point, so
that's my point. They're going to surge, and it's funny. I made the miracle pick I made on your show years back involved the Chargers as well, but I'm not ready to do that here yet.
I see 5 wins on their schedule: Cardinals, Raiders, Colts, Rams, Broncos, and Tennessee's winnable for them.
Mm-hmm.
KC, they give them issues. Can't rule it out. They give misses every time.
Relying on Patrick LaVon Mahomes II to make a mistake. Listen, all I'm telling you is don't go to Vegas with those odds, baby.
What I will say is this, though. I feel better about the Chargers getting in the playoffs than I do about the Patriots getting in the playoffs.
Now, that's a good point. But again, I'm not prepared to be that heroic on the Chargers yet because they're getting healthier, but they need to be healthy to finish the job. And they're not there yet, I don't think.
Which is why I think 11 wins is the lock, is the better number for here. And then the Bengals here, their schedule after this bye week, Steelers should be a win. Titans, Chiefs, Browns, Bucks, Patriots, Bills, and Ravens. Let's close the year out.
I'm not ready to lock them
Can't.
either. And you know, it's unfortunate because they had some very winnable games that were let slide. Joey was the
so I see Steelers a win. Browns are a win.
I'm going to lock the Steelers as a loss because that team's going to be pissed.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Wait, they lost the Steelers week 1.
In what fashion?
The block PAT.
Humiliating fashion in a game that they should have won.
So they'll win that game. Are you saying they'll win the game in Pittsburgh?
Vengeance is going to be sweet for the Bengals, in my opinion.
That's what I'm saying. That's a win.
Yeah.
Browns were. I think they'll be the Browns this time around.
I don't know, man.
It's at home.
I don't know, man. It didn't matter last year either.
That's true. Ooh,
and what do you always say? The run travels well.
It does.
You like
it did in Miami. It did in Miami this week though for them.
Well, they were. Listen, the Browns were in that game until it got blown open. Like, let's be clear. Let's not act like it was, domination Dolphin style the whole time. No, that's not accurate.
But that game was all control of the Dolphins. Yeah, at this point, you can't lock on the Bengals. Cannot. Cannot. All right. Before we go, let's talk about college football playoff rankings come out tonight. How does your 6 look like?
I mean, you're gonna. I haven't checked yet because we don't have the rankings yet. So I don't.
No, what would yours look like? I'm saying
you're gonna make me come
up
should look
right.
on the fly.
Should be pretty easy, right?
It should be pretty easy. No, listen, for my money, does anybody think Tennessee's moving anywhere now? No. I mean, they handled business and more, so that's that worked out nice.
They may move up. They may move up actually. If anything. No, no,
Uh,
no, no, they won't. No, they won't. No, they won't. They won't. Not yet.
they need help for that they didn't get, which is
But,
fine. Again, Tennessee fans just need to take a breath. Fate will be kinder to you soon, and I'll leave that at that. No, I'll put it. Here we go. So based on okay, yeah. So Georgia handled business. They're not moving. Ohio State crushed Indiana. Well, that's completely unimpressive. And they shouldn't be 2. They'll remain at 2. TCU over Texas might be the most significant win in the top 4. I could pound the table and make an argument that only improves the resume of TCU to make them number 2. But you and I both know that'll never happen.
But you would do that, right?
Would I do that?
If you're the committee, part of the committee, would you put TCU number 2?
No, I would do, first of all, okay, so I need to just do it without thinking of the committee's pick because they're just wrong about Ohio.
Yeah, do what you would do. How would
So
your system like?
it'll be Georgia, Michigan, TCU. I would slide Tennessee in.
Ohio State out of 4, right?
Yeah, and Ohio State would be 5.
I think the 6th spot's the most interesting one right now of this week.
Yeah, because
it was Oregon. They're done.
Yeah, the stupid man. I said it last week that just it's so hard to trust Oregon in general, man.
And they just proved us right.
Yeah, I tried to tell me, but I didn't listen.
You're the worst.
Doesn't make me wrong.
No, I agree with you. I totally agree with you.
So yeah, I mean, am I prepared to move LSU up? No. But
the resume helps though. The only argument is just LSU and USC. LSU has a resume, but they have 2 losses.
Meanwhile, USC has no resume to speak of.
And 1 loss.
Right.
So what weighs out here?
Yeah, you're right. It's LSU in that spot.
Yeah, me too. Me too. You beat Alabama, you get.
Well, I know you think so, Irish.
Plug away, Kyle. I'm done with you.
I am Kyle Nash, the Student of the Game. You can find me on Twitter at the SOTG. Find me on Instagram as the same, the SOTG. Check out my Facebook page as the Student of the Game. Also, check out my work with the 3-point conversion. I've submitted my matchup mania, so you can check out what games I think are most worth your time to watch there on the 3pointconversion.com. It'll drop Wednesday morning. And of course, I'm fitting to write the preview for UCF as they host Navy here at the Bounce House. And in the event that they beat them by more than, a field goal, Jim will be trying to flail furiously defending his Notre Dame Irish EJ's Notre Dame Irish that have no business even being ranked, let alone in the top 20. Of course, you can check out my work as well, covering the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are on a ball, on a bye.
On a ball. They play ball.
They play ball, yeah, but they're on a
bye.
They may be practicing right now, so they're on the ball. Who knows?
That's true.
And then, so check that out as well as with A7VN Sports, Captain and Company Morning Show on oldschool101.com with my friend Captain Chris Hill, of course. So check that out as well. Mm-hmm. And Hilarity by Default YouTube channel with required viewing, my friend Demosthenes Euclid. Busy as he is, he's talking about we still got episodes in the can that haven't been fully edited and aired yet. So while we haven't been recording, that doesn't mean new episodes aren't coming.
When was the last time you put out an episode on that feed?
See, this is the kind of host you are? Why would you ask that?
I'm asking questions. I'm a journalist.
No, you're not.
No, not really. Not really.
So, yeah. Anyways, Demosthenes Euclid. I'm not sure when the next one will come out, but the potential for new episodes is still there. Subscribe to the Hilarity by Default YouTube channel and activate.
The backlog is nice, though, guys. The backlog is real nice.
On the notifications when we do release something. And there's a lot of material there. Chances are you haven't seen it all. And if you like fun, Hilarity by Default.
I like fun. You're fun, Kyle.
Well, thank you, Earnest Christian. If I was that fun, you would have hung out with me by now.
All right. On that note,
Did
go
that
Heat
hurt when I dunked on you that way? You know what? The best way to top it, class dismissed.
and go Heat, bitch. Last night they won against Phoenix. Good job.
Go Heat, bitch. Right, there you go.